What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, the first thing I said when I saw they were bringing back Sir Patrick Stewart, Sir Ian McKellen, Alan Cumming, all these older actors to reprise their X-Men roles was good luck telling these guys anything in sort of the press tour prep. And if they have any interviews between now and then, they're gonna let stuff fly. And well, it hasn't taken long at all. Alan Cumming, in an interview, recently revealed a major scene update where he was talking about stunts and then revealed who he was fighting, and it's not another villain. We're breaking it all down, the latest Avengers Doomsday reveal coming from one of the actors about who will be fighting whom in at least one scene. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. If you're into that kind of thing, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. It's the #1 thing you can do to support us as content creators. Plus, it'll enter you for the giveaways if you want. Stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so Alan Cumming was doing an interview and he was asked about returning to the Marvel fold, and he started talking about it very candidly, saying he's 60 years old. It's been 23 years since he first played this character, and he's just surprised that he's back at it. He also goes on to call it the X-Men film, but it's not the X-Men reboot. I saw some people sort of saying, oh, could this mean he's actually in the X-Men film too? No, they're filming on Avengers Doomsday. Anyway, he said he was learning stunts, and then he said, I don't really know what I'm doing, and they say, well, you're hitting Pedro Pascal against the head, and then he continued to talk, which obviously reveals that at some point there will be a scene where Nightcrawler is fighting Reed Richards, or presumably the X-Men is fighting the Fantastic Four. Now, that's actually another piece of the puzzle that just got confirmed from the end of the Thunderbolts. Spoiler warning if you haven't seen it yet, but during that last post-credit scene, the Fantastic Four arrive in their interdimensional ship. That places them in the 616, at least alongside the new Avengers. Now, we know that that scene was directed by the Russos, and that scene and the entire set is from the set of Avengers Doomsday. So presumably, I think that comes early in the film, and you'll have the Fantastic Four on the 616 with the new Avengers, which means if the Fantastic Four is fighting the X-Men, the Avengers are most likely going to be alongside of them, or at least some semblance of them, and you're going to get that X-Men versus Avengers fight that we all presumed was coming in the first act of the film. Now, real talk, this really shouldn't even be a spoiler at all. The movies have always done what the comics have done, and when a hero meets a villain, or villains meet each other, heroes meet each other, they always square off to test their powers. They've been doing this since Avengers 1, basically in every Marvel movie, every time they get the opportunity. And so, of course, the Avengers and the Fantastic Four will start off on the wrong foot, end up fighting the X-Men, and then enemies will become friends as they realize that Monica Rambeau is the missing link between both teams. Now, one theory about what's happening here ties back to the original set leaks. Again, another spoiler warning if you haven't seen them, with all of the craters on what we thought was the courtyard for the X-Mansion. It could be that they are drawing directly from the comics, in which there is an incursion between the unnamed, unnumbered X-Men timeline that Monica Rambeau is in right now, and the 616, where the new Avengers, Captain America's Avengers, and the Fantastic Four will all be. And in the comics, they sort of had to fight each other to see which sort of timeline survived. So there's a chance that they're drawing directly from that, and the main incursion from Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, other than the one from the comics, which was the 616 and the 1610 Ultimates, will be the 616 and whatever this timeline is. Again, for the X-Men, no, I don't think they're going to name that one the 1610, because the 616 in the MCU was sort of loosely based on the Ultimates timeline, so it would be a little bit redundant. Now, whether or not they end up squaring off against Dr. Doom as one whole team, that would be kind of random and completely crazy if we get that many heroes teaming up. The X-Men, the Avengers, and the Fantastic Four, of course, once they're done fighting, to fight against Doom. And I doubt that's exactly how it's going to go down. And of course, there is the other possibility that somehow Nightcrawler and Reed Richards are going to find themselves squaring off and isolated from the rest of their teams, especially considering the Fantastic Four are going to do everything as a family. Really hard to figure out how they would just be by themselves fighting, so most likely in a group context. Now, when thinking a lot about how they did Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, they were able to break up the groups pretty well and have them doing things that made sense for the storyline before they all met up. And it kept you compelled because there were so many different threads that they were weaving together. And as we've said many times at the channel, and even they have admitted, they do not want to make Infinity War and Avengers Endgame Part 1 and Part 2. Yes, superhero stories of course have similar beats, and that's unavoidable. And of course, having a lot of the groups team up and early on would be a lot different than, say, the early part of Infinity War, where everybody was fractured. But the way that the Russos, and especially the way that the movies were written, with all of the teams sort of doing different things, the way that they were partitioned off, is probably the only way you can tackle this many characters and going this wide. The other way you can do it is to have a lot of characters actually die off. And do I think that those deaths are going to come at the hands of each other? Hell no. I don't think we're going to see Reed Richards kill Nightcrawler. But Doctor Doom coming through and thinning the crowd the same way that Thanos did in Infinity War would really help make a lot of room for characters in Avengers Secret Wars. And no, they're not going to be able to undo the deaths from Doomsday. We've talked about that at the channel as well. That's how they're going to differentiate this film. Real stakes in these deaths, no unsnapping them at the end of Avengers Secret Wars. So the only real question is, if the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and the Avengers all go at it, who has the upper hand? Of course, it matters a lot who's involved on the team. The Fantastic Four is pretty straightforward. We haven't seen how they operate together yet. We have seen the X-Men in full force. We just don't know exactly what the team is going to look like. And as for the Avengers, I would say other than Sentry, they're probably the least most inherently powerful of the group. I mean, Super Soldier Serum aside, you're dealing with actual mutants and the Fantastic Four who are enhanced. I still am going to give the edge to the Avengers with Sentry without. I got to give the edge to the X-Men, and in all cases, in all instances, just because pound for power, if their lineup is anything like we think it might be, and let's face it, they've already got Professor X and Magneto, and as if that isn't enough, they might add Storm. You got to go with the X-Men on this one to absolutely clean shop. So I don't really know how the new Avengers and the Fantastic Four are going to handle that, but you know, most likely the X-Men wipe the floor with them. But you guys let me know your thoughts down below. Maybe you have a different take on who wins this. And again, Sentry is a huge X factor there. If he's on the new Avengers side, Sentry in the comic books has absolutely demolished every team by himself. So that's why they get the slight edge with Sentry in full force, but we already know that that's questionable. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below. How hype are you for Avengers Doomsday? I'm all ears as always. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. All right, we are still giving away PlayStation 5s here at the channel, and we're just going to continue to do that all for Marvel drops this year. So there are several left. If you want to be entered to win or for any of the giveaways here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will always be announced live with my voice and the winning comment shown on screen when there is one. So please be safe and vigilant on my channel, really any channel that does giveaways, and only give out your information when you're talking to someone on a verified account. Remember, no content creator will ever charge you for shipping. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes under the name AllFires. And while I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.